Take that down, set that over there. And I've got my new body float here, and very, very simple process. I got a 5 mil, loosen up my bolt. So what I'm going to do is back off my bolt until the threads disappear into the nut at the top. Back that out, turn it around, keeping pressure on the top of the seat post clamp. Open that up. Now if I pull these two pieces apart, these two little wood dowels come out. I find it easiest to hold the unit upside down, so you're basically hanging that little system right there. Take my saddle, put it in, turn it, and put it upright. Very, very simple way to put on a saddle these days. So tighten that down, just going to snug it up a little bit, not too much, because we still got to make some minor adjustments to the saddle as we get it on. I'm going to slide the system in. You have a scale here on the front. This is going to be your saddle height. And you're going to use a couple different numbers. That's going to be one of them that you use. The other one that we'll see here is our preload scale on the back. Let me get down about to where it was before. I'm going to snug this up. I'm not going to tighten it fully. I want to flatten my saddle, which is right about there. I want to make sure that I've got an approximate on my 44.7, which is my reach. Go back just a little bit on that. Level saddle, 44.7. I'm going to go 44. I'm going to go a little bit, just right about there. I think that's going to be good. Tighten that one down. Tighten this side down. My saddle is on. Now I've got my reach taken care of. I've got my saddle tilt taken care of. Now I want to get my height. Now when you're on the body float, you're on a certain spring rate and you're going to have a little bit of sag in it. We haven't gone in and adjusted what my sag is yet. That's number 2 on the list, is figuring out what your spring rate is. So on the chart here I've got an A, B, and C option. A, so basically I'm 170 pounds. If I go down into 170 pounds, I come across and I have an A, B, or C. A, go up, that's a purple spring. B, go up, that's a black-purple spring set. And C, I go up and I'm a black. So those are my 3 options. Basically A is going to have the least amount of travel, the optimum isolation, but it's a very sensitive system and it's going to be affected by inefficient pedal rate, inefficient style, or bouncing around. It's going to be very effective for that. Highly effective for an experienced rider who can really stay smooth. B is going to be your moderate travel, kind of catch-all side of things. So the B travel is going to give you enough travel to keep you floating up above your bike and enough room for the bike to be able to move up underneath of you. C is going to be your most amount of travel. You're going to sit up, you're going to sit on this, you're going to compress it the least amount, and it gives you the biggest amount of cushion to ride on. But it's also the stiffest spring rate. So again, on the spring rate chart, we've gone down, I've recorded your saddle height, I've recorded your saddle reach, and I've recorded your tilt. We've selected A, B, and C on spring rate. With my body weight, I'm going to go with a B setup, which is the catch-all. I recommend everybody to be on a B setting to start with. On an e-bike, when I'm very upright, I could also go to a C setting. But I'm going to set that up. So I need to have a black-purple spring. And right now the unit I got has a black and black spring. So I need to change out the lower spring to accommodate my black-purple spring. Very simple process to do. Basically all I'm going to do is back out, move this into its most upright position. Basically the arrow will be pointing down there to the number 1. Come over here, and I back out my side bolt. This is the preload insert bolt. Spin that out. It's only threaded the first little bit and then it pulls all the way out. And now take your thumb and just press down on the back side and the system opens up. I back this preload bolt out all the way. Spin it out, take that. Here's my black spring, 1 3/4 inch lower spring. I'm going to swap that to a purple 1 3/4 spring. I'm going to back this black spring out. There's my 1 3/4 black spring. Pull that one off. Put on my 1 3/4 purple spring and thread it back on. key issue here, make sure you've got a little bit of Loctite, blue Loctite on the ends of these threads, and make sure it's a little bit tacky, so let it dry a little bit, because that's what's going to hold your preload into place sometimes. So make sure this has got a little bit of Loctite on it. Screw that into the thread. Make sure your housing and everything and your preload inserts in their correct position. Spin this down just a little bit until it just starts to get snug. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up the little wings here. You got a hole, wings, and you got a wing catch right there. And I'm just going to press this up into place. Gently push that in until the wings line up, and I've got a hole line up with my preload insert. Push that through into that position and tighten back down my preload insert screw. Doesn't need much torque, 4 Newton meters on that bolt, that's all you need. That's as easy as it is to change my springs. Now I've got a little bit softer spring rate and I'm ready to roll. Alright, so I'm set up now. I've done my preload, I've done my current saddle height, I've got my spring rates selected. Now I want to establish neutral. So what is neutral and how important is neutral? Neutral is the position where your body becomes stable and solid when you're riding. No pedal induced bounce, no moving around. It basically is your saddle height. So the saddle height that we had measured before, 76.4, well, when I sit on this system, it's going to sag a certain amount for my body weight. That's fine and it's supposed to. When it sags, what we're going to do is this bolt in the back, we're going to come back, I'm going to sit on it, and I'm going to turn this bolt clockwise, and I'm going to remove that sag. So when I sit on the saddle, and when I come off and on the saddle doesn't move at all. It stays stable. And when I'm riding under my normal output, I don't get any pedal-induced bounce. If I was to sit upright, take my hands off the bars and sit upright, sure, I'm going to be able to get it to move, and I should be able to get it to move. But you don't ride like that, so we don't tune it like that. So this system right now is a black purple, and I'm going to set it 76.4 is our preload, or is your existing saddle height. I'm going to go about 2 centimeters high, right at about 77.5. That's just about right. I'm going to go up just a tiny bit. Now when I sit on the system, it's going to go up and down. And as I sit on it, you can see this bolt in the back comes out. Pretty easy to get into. I can do this, find the bolt, and basically as I'm rising and lowering my normal riding position, I'm just going to tighten that down until in my normal riding position the saddle doesn't move. Right about there. So again, that's a much stiffer saddle than I had before, and in my normal riding position I can't get it to move. If I sit upright, sure, I can get it to move, no problem. But again, I'm riding like this, so this is how I tune it. That's roughly my neutral position. I preloaded it down to approximately 2.5 on the lines right there. And at about a 2.5, that's my preload for this system. And what I would do is go out on a quick bike ride again and see how that feels, and see if it feels like you are having a standard seat post on there. It should feel rigid, it should feel relatively firm underneath of you. So go out and ride that same route again and see how that goes. Okay. I don't know where that